Greetings, everyone, and happy holidays. This is the 50th episode of the Knights of the Turntable. We actually made it this far. We made it this far without getting canceled. Shout out to Rich and Gary. And with me on this episode, I have, first off, Joe Hova.
What up?
We've got Richard Bailey.
What's up? Technical difficulties with the mute button.
Rich like the technologies. Word. And we're going to say that he's not just on this episode because it's episode 50, but we have Mr. Gary Swaby in the house.
Woo! Yeah, what's up? This is 50. This is the 50th. So.
Really? I was gonna give you a round of applause until you said that part. And we also have Kel. She's gonna be jumping on shortly.
She's taking Henny to the head.
And unfortunately, B. Will just told me he cannot make it on. But you know, he sends his love, his light skin love to us from afar.
I don't want it.
But on this monumental episode, we're gonna go ahead and this is our end of the year pre-show, basically. Of course, you know, mid-December, everything is business as usual. There's no J Electronica album. Frank Ocean is nowhere to be found. So it's time to get your list together of the best music that you've heard, the best albums, and some of the worst stuff that you've heard as well. We'll get to that in a moment. But this next week, we're going to have the articles drop for our Song of the Year from every member, Collaboration of the Year from every member, and our Rookie of the Year from every member. It's going to be in a list format, and everybody's going to have a blurb and have their choice of one on those. And then at the end of that week, we'll have episode 51, where we rank our album of the year, album/EP, and the mixtape of the year. So we definitely got to make sure everybody shows up for that. It's going to be a really big deal, and it's going to be really exciting. It's probably going to get pretty heated because I know Future is going to be on that list, and finding a spot for him is going to be a problem. But this week on this episode 50, we're going to talk about who had the worst year in hip-hop in 2015. And we're going to talk about our MVP projects because a lot of people talking about how, you know, a lot of the music, you know, microwave journalists and microwave music in general, we listen to it, we throw it away, you know, instant gratification. But there are a lot of projects that stay with us and stay in our rotation. And the 2014 MVP is going to be that project for each one of us. Which album from last year did we keep in rotation and not stop listening to? But before we get into that, let's see what everyone has been listening to. We're going to start with you, Gary, since we haven't had you on in a while. What's in your tape deck, sir?
I've been listening to the Kanan tape that dropped this week. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I did listen to, you know, a few things on Spotify because I just got premium again. I listened to some of Future's album, but you know I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't like listen to all of it. Like I had to turn off after a certain point. So unfortunately I couldn't make it through that album. But you know I listened to songs here and there just from the past. You know, some of my favorite songs from the past and stuff because I got my own playlist that I listen to. But, you know, as far as new stuff, just the Kanan tape, really.
Word. Of course you only listen to a 50 Cent project. Who is surprised by that, sir?
Of course, man. Not afraid to.
I'm as shocked at that as I am about Rich listening to Joey Badass.
Oh, well, what's that?
Oh, take it for them shots, man. He know where the mute button is now, bro. He ready for you.
Yeah, I heard that. Okay, I got you. Thank you for that one.
All right, go ahead, Rich. What have you been listening to?
All right, well, I went back to J-Rock's 90059.
Beat a zip.
Yeah, good album. I was listening to that, a couple tracks off of that. Gumbo mainly in rotation because the song is fire. I listened to the Erykah Badu mixtape once again. That Hello song with Andre 3000. I've been killing that song over and over again.
That joint is fire.
Yes, fantastic. And I also heard, you know, when you guys were talking about the Drake impersonator in the album, it's pretty funny. The guy sounds just like Drake. Yeah.
He's legitimately spot on.
And a couple of the same suspects. some Tyler, and some Kendrick, and Snoop Dogg. Not, again, his older stuff. Not so much Bush, because I probably killed that to death. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Word. I'll say mine next, and I'll let Joe round it off. I've been listening. Today I was listening to Big Chris mixtape. It's Better This Way. I actually hadn't listened to it for a while, and I decided to throw that back in rotation. Give it a listen. It's still really good. And then the last week, honestly, I've been trying to listen to every album or mixtape that I feel would be nominated, so I can, kind of get refreshed on them if I haven't kept them in rotation. So I listened to Skyzoo's Music for My Friends. I listened to Joey Badass Before the Money again, Lupe's mixtape and his album. Next up, I got to listen to Yellow Wolf's Love Story again. Cherry Bomb, bumped that yesterday. And it's still just as dope as it was before. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of the nominations and stuff. The albums that you're going to see on a lot of people's lists this year, I've been listening to them so I can kind of get my list down. And I can't wait to see what we all come up with next week, man. It's going to be something else. But Joe, what have you been listening to, sir?
So today I was listening to G. Scott. He's an indie artist out of Gary, Indiana. He put out a mixtape called Another Weekend in Las Vegas. It's a follow-up to one of his, I think it was his 2012 tape called A Weekend in Las Vegas. But I interviewed him this week, so I didn't get a chance to listen to it. But I checked that out. It's a solid tape. I got to go see Big Crit in Columbia, South Carolina earlier this week. So, of course, I was listening to Cadillactica, like, leading up and after the show. Like, he did Third Eye live with a guitar and drums, and it was amazing.
I can only imagine.
Swear to God. So I was listening to that. What else did I listen to this week? Future, just because I have this superstition, I guess. My fantasy football team that I was doing well in this year is called the Future Line of Panthers. And I got blown out last week in the fucking playoffs. Which we have 2 weeks, so I have to beat my boss this week and get like an extra 40 points in order to like move on to the title game. So I had to listen to some Future for some good vibes.
I respect it, man. I'm looking okay. This week is all my first playoff games.
Dog, I went 11-1, only to get blown out the first fucking week.
That is terrible. That's usually how it goes with teams like
I won 10 in a row. 10 in a row.
And they get blasted. That sucks.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and propose the secret question for the week as well that y'all can ponder over, so we can answer it at the end of the show. You probably should have guessed what it is. Since we're going to talk about the worst year ever, think about who had the best year ever as well, and we'll address that at the end of the show. Update, Kel said she's about 10 minutes out, so she's going to be jumping into the show at some point soon. But first, let's talk about the worst year ever. Before we even say who we automatically think won it overall, let's get a list out of the people that should be nominated for that. And I'm expecting input from all of you. Meek Mill's automatically on that list.
Okay. XV.
XV is a great addition to that list. I greatly appreciate you Actually, I don't appreciate you reminding me of that because it depressed the hell out of me. But XV, Meek Mill, who else we got?
Dom Kennedy.
Yeah. And it's bad because it's off of one thing. But that one thing was so bad.
It was the absolute worst project of the year.
Yep, that's true. Gary, you want to put 50 on there? Go ahead and sacrifice it to the Wolves, man. Just go ahead.
How about Rick Ross?
Is it worse year? Rick Ross bounced back after Meek Mill dropped the ball.
Yep.
Why is he dissing Drake though? Because Drake will ether him, like he'll ether his.
But he hasn't been ethered yet. Now, if that happened,
then
we could discuss it. That may happen, but it might not happen in 2015.
Okay, but how about the fact that he sold like 34,000 on, and that project is on a record label? It's not independent.
I still don't see that as like having a bad year, like because that's like standard hip hop sales anymore.
But what happened? I actually didn't know anything about that last.
Okay, how much did Jadakiss sell?
Shit, I don't know. It wasn't that much.
I think it wasn't it like 60 or something?
Something like that.
If he did 60, that's actually not bad.
The problem with Ross is that he's put out 3 projects in the last like I want to say 16 months, and they've all been for sale. Like it's just diluting the fact that he's not going away. Like if he put this out and hadn't put out anything in like 3 years, yeah, I would put him on that list for sure.
And it's hard for me to put him on that list because I just listened to Black Market. I'm not a Rick Ross fan, but that is the best Rick Ross project I have heard from him ever. And you know, I've struggled through a few of them. I've had some songs that are good, but I never enjoyed a full project from him. This is the first time for me. Black Market is what it's called, I believe, and it's pretty dope. And
the only other person I was thinking is I don't know if you guys agree, but Fetty Wap, like he had some hits, but did the album live up to that?
See, I would put Fetty as like one of having the best year ever, just because the radio singles.
Yeah, because he made bank off just those. I don't know what his album sold.
His album didn't sell, but his singles, like he had Drake hop on his song and it went straight to radio. Like he had like 3 Billboard #1s.
True.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if you want to nominate Fetty, we can keep it on there because we're gonna break it all down later on. So you want to put Fetty on there?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not the greatest judge of this because I didn't really pay much attention this year because life issues and stuff. But
gotcha.
Those are the 2 names that I could think of at the moment. And Musical is the obvious one, but you guys already mentioned that.
Gotcha. And I'm sure there's some that we're missing too.
Yeah.
But, how about you, Rich?
My boy Tigger or Tiger or whatever the hell you want to.
Oh yes.
I forgot about him. Yeah, that one could definitely go on the list.
You can put him on the list. I would have been tempted to put Kanye on the list, but I can't do that now because he got the.
Why not?
Well, he got the good news of now. The Saint is here now. Saint list.
Saint ain't got nothing to do with hip hop.
The category is the worst year in hip hop, sir. So Kanye goes on this list.
Kanye definitely on that list.
All right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. That's good.
Is it even worth it to put Jay Electronica on this list?
I think so, just because every year that he said, I'm okay with putting Jay Electronica on this list because he's always bitching about hip hop and people criticizing it. Like the Billboard list, the Billboard top 10 all time. He was bitching about it. He's like, oh, you can't listen to this list because these 2 dudes did it. And he screenshot it. He's like, well. And they clapped back and they said, "Hey, we want to put you on like the top 10 list, but you don't have an album."
It is valid. It's gonna be valid every time until you put something out.
I think Jay Electronica goes on this list every year that he doesn't put something out.
Uh-oh.
And what about Wale? Can he go on there?
Social network wise, Wale had a pretty bad year.
And Wale has a bad year social media wise all the time.
That's true. So we can honestly put him on that list because of his bad. Like the only reason it's overshadowed is because Meek Mill had such a worse year on social media.
Wait a second. If you're going based off of social media, you better also add Iggy on that list for worse. Yeah.
Oh, but do we even count her?
I don't count Iggy.
Erykah Badu says she's not hip hop, so she's not going on here. So I think, no, we can put it up to a vote, but I think Erykah Badu.
Iggy's pop. Iggy's pop rap.
Oh, okay.
Iggy falls in that category of Macklemore and Flo Rida and Pitbull.
Did Macklemore have a bad year in hip hop, guys?
Not really. I mean, he was in that Bose commercial with Russell Wilson. I mean, his shit.
It's like he did bad things, but they made so much money it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, Downtown was a success, so.
True. Is there anyone else we can throw on there? I'd like to put Absol on it, but I don't think people think about him as much as I do.
I'm trying to think. Who else had a really bad year?
So none of you guys are gonna put 50 on there for supposedly being bankrupt?
Because I feel like he played the system and came out a winner on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I wouldn't.
And not only that, he's already. I mean, there was talks of him doing that show against Empire on Fox. Like he's getting his own TV show. So I mean, that's not really a bad year to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? A friend of 50 or?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. My friend 50. So if he can get Rick Ross to make an appearance on that show, best show ever.
No, that's not happening.
You never know, man. Because hey, money talks. You never know what can happen. But I feel like there's somebody that we're missing.
Yeah, I think there is somebody.
Who else had a bad year?
Maybe
Maybe not anybody worse than what we've named though, because oh my goodness.
What we've named has been terrible. Like Kanye, you know, I was willing to give Kanye like the benefit of the doubt on some of those verses, but then I heard him singing without auto-tune on the Ty Dolla $ign album. I was like, no, you've had an incredibly shit year.
Oh, and I did realize listening to Cherry Bomb, that is the only good verse he had all year.
Yeah. All year.
That's true.
All these days, all these songs, you got one good one rapping.
These days.
You technically have as many as Jay Electronica does. That's not good. And he only put out, what, 2 verses this year, I think? It's terrible. Good job, Kanye. All right, 7:43. So, who out of the bunch that we listed are the top 3 absolute worst for the year 2015?
I mean, do we even need to make a top 3 with Meek? I mean, Meek had the absolute worst year of anybody in hip-hop history.
You think it's like not even debatable?
I don't even think it's debatable at this point. Look at Meek's timeline. He got out of jail. It was announced that he was dating Nicki Minaj, and he was, fighting off SB and all the subliminal disses and shit. And he did really well with that. And then he dissed Drake, and it went all downhill from there.
And his album wasn't that great. And apparently he may be going back to jail. Because apparently he found a drug test.
And the dumbass had the audacity to tell the fucking parole person, or whoever it was, that his pee was that clear because he was drinking so much water. You are a goddamn lie, sir, because I drink water all the time and my piss ain't that clear.
Whoa!
All right, so it's not debatable that Meek Mill's number 1 out of the top 3.
Yeah, Meek's got to be number 1. I mean,
Right,
it went the 2 diss tracks, and then Drake owned him at OVO Fest with the memes. I mean,
and Undertaker.
And Undertaker. I mean, he buried that dude.
Tombstone Power Driver right down the drain.
Yeah, didn't he have to delete that diss track as well?
Yeah.
He did it.
That's crazy.
All right, so Meek Mill definitely had the worst year ever. But 2 and 3, this is where it's going to get tough, guys.
Uh-oh.
Because Joe reminded me of XV.
I mean, number two is XV. It has to be because the dude didn't put out shit all year, and it's the year of his fucking Roman numeral ass name.
Fucking 15. The fucking the kid with the green backpack. Nothing. We've heard nothing from it, and this should be the year that it should drop. Nothing. We haven't heard. He was supposed to do the little SoundCloud radio thing. I think he did that like 2 weeks and it disappeared. I haven't seen anything. He was supposed to do that all year long. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I ain't seen him. And I reached out to him for an interview. That also puts him back on the worst year. So I reached out early in the year to ask him about doing a project for 2015. Not do a project with us, but the fact that he should drop one this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. He's number 2 for sure.
All right.
Number 2. What? So he's number 2 ahead of Dom Kennedy with the bad album that he dropped.
Because Dom Kennedy dropped one bad project. I think he would be in the same boat as Kanye at this point. So it'd be a battle between them.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was getting ready to say. Is that at this point it's Dom versus Kanye for number 3.
See,
And
Gary,
honestly,
Gary hasn't listened to that freaking Dom Kennedy project. Be glad. It was that bad. It is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
I can't believe it was bad though, because he usually makes good music.
That's why it's so bad.
That's the thing is by Dom Kennedy. Everybody hated that, but it wasn't that bad when you go back and listen to it. But the fucking Best After Bobby 2 was terrible. We roasted it for an entire episode, an entire first impression. That's all we did was roast that project.
And even longer after that, when we stopped recording, which we should have kept recording.
It was an hour of us roasting Dom Kennedy.
I need to go back and listen to that.
It's much better than the album.
I'm telling you what, if you are having a bad day or you need a smile, go listen to that episode. I promise you will laugh by at least the first 10 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna watch that too.
So he dropped the easiest, worst mixtape we've heard in the last probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye has consistently stunk up every song he's been featured on this year, except for the one on Cherry Bomb. So his verses on Dark Sky Paradise are terrible. Travis Scott, terrible. Anything
A$AP Rocky.
A$AP Rocky.
The A$AP Rocky verse made no fucking sense. All Day was a commercial flop. 4 or 5 seconds.
That's his best song, but he's not even rapping on it.
Yeah, and he dropped that song about his daughter, the Paul McCartney whatever
Only
feature
You.
one on fucking New Year's Eve. That's when it started. Was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh, but look at the message for that song. The message is cute, but the song is not
The
good."
song, shit.
Yes. Also, you have to definitely give him even bonus points for having a horrible year, because where the fuck is Swish at? Where the hell?
Right.
He talk about, oh, this is a masterpiece. It has to release later. Where the hell is it at? This is 2016 is in a couple weeks.
Hey,
Yo.
that'd be one hell of a move to have all the worst verses of the year and then drop one of the better albums. That would be, but that ain't gonna happen.
At this point, though, I'm willing to put Dom Kennedy on number 3 just because of Kanye's Vanguard speech at the VMAs.
I'll second that by saying that Kanye didn't put all of those songs on one disc and try to sell it or give it to us. So
Yep.
I'll put Dom above him for that, because Dom took a project, considered that to be a cohesive project and complete.
Like, you know what he did? He gave us a Silk the Shocker project. Like, he rapped offbeat on every one of them fucking songs.
I'd take a Silk the Shocker project over that mixtape. Not even gonna lie, I'd take it. It'd be hotter than that crap that he did. So what do you two think? The individual bad songs all year, but a decent. Kanye has had a better public appearance this year than he's had in recent years. It's not spotless, but it's better.
Yeah.
Did y'all see his last interaction with paparazzi?
No.
Like every time they said something, he said thank you, 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 thank you. He just kept saying, like, it didn't matter what they said. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was hilarious. What were you about to say, Gary?
No, I would put Dom Kennedy as third because, you know, I like Kanye, man, like his personality and a lot of his music too. I haven't heard any most of those features he did this year, but you know, I fucks with Kanye, so I would put Dom Kennedy at 3.
All right, cool. Hold on. Oh, Kel says she's gonna be delayed.
Uh-oh.
She ain't coming in.
Hey, you said don't have kids. So.
Mommy problems. But yeah, so number 1, Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Number 2, XV. God dang XV, man. Terrible. Terrible. And then number 3 is Mr. Dom Kennedy. Cool. Kanye didn't. I really thought Kanye was gonna make that top 3, but that was before Joe reminded me of XV, so I understand.
Just like that was a waste of an entire year. Like whoever does his marketing needs to be fucking fired.
Ooh. To not have any music, like any new music in 2015, and your name is 15.
Mm-hmm.
The album is he dropping an album in 2016. He gonna say, yeah, I was working. project all of 2015.
J. Cole disappeared last year so he could make sure he could do 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And none of us even knew that that was his address. That was going to work out. But he made that shit happen in the last month, in the last like 2 weeks of the year.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's a year old now.
Yeah, it's a year old, and I'm like, maybe XV will drop something. No, I don't. If we get Swish and XV's album and Eminem's album that was supposed to come out this year and Jay Electronica,
And
I'll quit hosting the Nights of the Turntable forever.
I will actually go to church.
Whoa.
Because I'll need to pray thinking that the end of the world is here. So
yeah, all 4 of those drop, and we're supposed to get Nas too. Like,
them shits ain't dropping.
Yeah. Ain't no way. All right, so now that we've got that out the way, let's talk about our 2014 MVPs. And to refresh everyone's memory, that is the best project, or not best project, but the album or mixtape or EP that you've listened to the most from last year going into this year. So it stayed in your rotation. I'll start off with Kel's. Hers is Isaiah Rashad Sylvia demo, which honestly would probably be in my top 5 as far as projects go that I continue listening to. So that's definitely a good answer. Swaby, do you already know yours?
Yeah, can we only give one?
Only one, man. You got to choose one.
Okay, Animal Ambition.
And you got to tell us why. And because it's 50, doesn't count.
Yeah, I think it was a great selection of music. It was varied. He had like songs for the club. He had the song with what's the dude's name? I can't even remember the singer on the song. But it was called Flames or something. No, Smoke. Sorry, Smoke. It was called Smoke. That song. He had that song, which was like the radio hit. And and the rest of it was like vintage 50. It gave you that hardcore 2003 50 Cent feel. So I enjoyed that, and I still listen to it to this day. Some other ones that I was going to mention was Mick Jenkins, The Waters, and Scott House Rules. Those are the only ones that I still kind of bump at the moment. So.
Yeah, House Rules was dope. I don't give it that many spins, but The Waters does occasionally pop back into my rotation for sure. Now I got a question for you, Gary.
Yo.
If I went back year by year, would every year be a 50 Cent project?
Yeah, I haven't got a great memory. I can't remember when everything came out. Like I can't even remember what I'd listened to in 2013, to be honest. So I'd have to do some research or something. But I mean, I do listen to a lot of G Unit 50 Cent, so.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Okay, Richard Bailey.
All right, so this is a very, very difficult decision. No, not really. My pick was, I wanted to go in one direction. I'm going in another one because I listen to this a lot more. It has to be P. Rhyme. And let me go ahead and say why. Because, listen, I've always been a Royce fan. Listening to a lot of the stuff, I know he had that real sick cipher, the BET cipher about Rihanna. That caught my attention.
He did kill that.
So, when this album dropped, I didn't know when it was going to drop. All I heard, the album is out. Listen to the album. Album is solid from start to finish. And I understand that they actually finally did a video for You Lose this year, which I thought was kind of weird because the album dropped last year. So, but the video was, that's one of my favorite songs on the album. The production, everything. So, yeah, and I'm very interested. I hear that P. Rhyme is working with a couple other artists. I think he's going to do some tracks with Nas, a few other people. Did he do one with Black Thought as well recently?
You haven't listened to the deluxe tracks then, have you?
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I have not. Deluxe tracks.
There's one with Black Thought. There's one with MF Doom and Fonte. There's one with Logic, and there's one with somebody else. They're all fire.
Is Logic J. Cole or Kendrick on this one?
He's, I think he's Royce the 5'9" on this one, actually.
I gotta check that out.
The chameleon of hip hop.
Yeah, see, I gotta check that out. But you know, if there was another one I was going to pick, I think we already know what that is going to be, and it's going to be J. Cole's album. Because a lot of those songs as well, I liked a lot of those songs. Some of the videos he did, I still think there's some pretty good videos. So that would be my 2 picks, but P. Rhyme obviously the number 1, without question.
See, J. Cole's and Joe, yes, you're going to be going last. J. Cole's is probably in my top 5. Earlier in the year, I listened to it a lot more, but Run the Jewels 2 actually stayed more consistent throughout mine, but that's not my Run the Jewels 2 is not my number 1 choice, though. That's actually my second one, but it's legitimately pretty close, because Run the Jewels 2 is nuts, and I've played the crap out of that. But the one that I've listened to the most, though, is Saba, Comfort Zone, the dude from Chicago. Mm-hmm. I've listened to that album at least one song every day, just about, and I know I listen to the whole album every single week. And on my little journeys to work and back, or whatever, my commutes, I always listen to it. Like, if Google Play could show me the freaking tallies of how many times it's been played, it's probably unhealthy, but it's pretty dope. But Run the Jewels is screaming on his heels, no joke. That's just amazing. I'm sure that's on the heels for Joe's first choice as well.
Yeah, like that was up there. This was a tough one because I couldn't think of like everything I listened to last year. But this one, the Run the Jewels 2, I mean, that was fucking fire. Future's Monster, I mean, I played that the fuck out this year. Just Codeine Crazy alone. Like I was actually listening to Codeine Crazy earlier today. But I gotta go with Mick Jenkins, man.
Really?
Mick Jenkins' The Waters is a project I remember playing at least once every other week this year, if not more, until Waves dropped. Just because, and it's one of those projects you play front to back. Like, I have to start it at the beginning, and I have to go all the way through it.
Yeah, there were no songs on The Waters that I just picked and listened to. I listened to the whole thing every time. And that's
mine ended at Martyrs, though.
Really?
Yeah, I don't listen to the last track.
Cool. I can respect it. But yeah, that's good though. Mick Jenkins, Saba's Comfort Zone. Of course, I'm gonna shout out the fact that we got 2 Chicago artists on there. What was yours again, Rich? Prime?
Yep.
And then Mr. 50 Cent, Animal Ambition, right?
Yeah, Animal Ambition.
All right. We're going to go ahead and say what Blues was. It was 2014 Forest Hills, right?
We know that.
He ain't got to tell us shit. We know what that is. And then Kel's was Sylvia Demo. What do we think B Wills was from last year?
Not a Lupe project.
I can't even imagine what it would be for him.
I don't know, man. He listens to a lot of obscure stuff.
Yeah, and he was working on music last year because he told us he wasn't listening to a lot of stuff. So yeah, we'll ask him and figure it out. Well, matter of fact, we should probably make him listen to our nominees from last year and see what he thinks was the best one.
Yeah.
Because he'll probably come down to Prime and Run the Jewels, man, or Catalactica. I forgot. He actually, Catalactica is probably what he was listening to last year. So we'll throw that out there for his nominee. So now we get to the secret answer of the secret question: who had the best year? This one we're not going to do it where we have to rank the top 3. Each one of us, we can give an answer on who we think had the best year of 2015. Would one of you like to start first, or would you like me to go first?
You go first.
All right. For me, the answer is Chance the Rapper. Simple as that. I think I've talked about it before about him having a really good year. As an independent artist, he's had one of the most incredible years in music, point blank period. And he's about to be on SNL, I think, tonight. Tonight.
And don't forget, his verse is about the only thing that people listen to off that Action Bronson album.
Yep, the most petty verse of 2015. If that was a category, you would automatically win that too. But independent artist hasn't sold one record, point blank period, and he's about to be on SNL. And he's the first independent artist to ever be on SNL. I think they said that when they announced that he was going to be on there.
They say that Macklemore is independent, but he's the first artist who hasn't sold records that's on SNL.
Gotcha. I'm not going to count Macklemore.
I don't either.
White privilege and all that. Who wants to go next? Joe.
I mean, you already know who I'm going to say.
Future.
5-peat. The dude had a 5-peat this year. He won 5 in a row, starting with Monster. And actually, Monster started at the end of last year. But yeah, I mean, Future's run was undeniable this year. Like he like you thought he was done, and he just dropped another fucking heater, like heater after heater after heater. And then What a Time to Be Alive. I mean, he got the Drake stamp of approval on there, and it turned Drake's audience onto him. And that shit was premiered on the Beats, you know, the what is it, the OVO radio on Beats One or whatever. So yeah, I mean, Future had absolutely the best year ever.
He had an incredible year, and I don't know if you saw my tweets, but I finally listened to March Madness for the first time last week, and it's dope.
Yo,
the
DJ played. I can't remember the DJ's name at the Crit Show the other night, the one who was opening up, but he played March Madness, and I have never been congregated when that song is played, but there was about 500-600 people in there because it was the beginning of the show, and they were all turning up to March Madness. I have never seen it before. It was amazing.
That's beautiful, man. All right, Gary Swaby.
Are we allowed to say the same people? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Future too, because although I don't really like much of his music, there's no denying that, you know, this dude's getting played everywhere. Like, he's big in Europe as well. Like, his music gets played heavy over here. So, like, you know, even if you don't listen to the man's music, you're going to hear it anyway. And, you know, the collaboration with Drake and, you know, DS2 and just being consistently played everywhere, you know, I have to say Future, even though, you know, I'm not a big fan myself. Like, it's no denying for me.
Did 50 Cent give him a cosign recently or something? I think he said something about Future on something.
Yeah, he actually did. But that's not why I chose him. But,
no, I'm not saying that's why. But, I know I saw something about that. But Bailey, what's your answer? I think I know what his is.
See, here's the thing. To me, there's an obvious answer, and then there's another answer that you probably wouldn't expect. So let me go ahead and say one that you may not expect. Good and best. I think Lupe had a pretty good year.
That's true. He did bounce back pretty big.
Yeah, because if you look at Lasers, I know that was one of your favorite albums.
You get that right the hell up on out of here.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've talked about that banjo song a lot on this show as, you know, not really one of my favorite songs, but the album is good. But that mixtape that he dropped, later, that is the Lupe that I want to hear more of moving forward. So I have to say that he had a good year. Now, as I said before, if there's an obvious answer, it's obviously Kendrick.
Wow! Actually, I didn't expect that to be your answer though.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what. Who did you think it was going to be?
I thought you were going to say Tyler, the Creator.
Nah, son. Listen, Kendrick this was his year. Everything.
When Obama says that his favorite song of the year is your song, you have a pretty fucking dope year.
That's true. That's very, very true.
You definitely have to acknowledge that he got his 11 Grammy nominations as well this past week. But not really just about that. He just had a great year. The live performances, people was talking about it. He popped up on all types of tracks. He was on the Compton album, on Games album, left and right. So I say he had an excellent year.
Yeah, I mean, he executed on all of his feature verses, the complete opposite of Kanye West, basically. I kind of ran away with the Compton verses because that's pretty much all I go back and listen to. I will throw this out there because though none of us listened to him, he did have an incredible year, and that's Drake. So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have climbed on top of a few people's bodies to get that incredible year.
Yo, I gotta give Drake credit because like that song Back to Back, isn't it nominated for?
It's nominated for a Grammy.
It plays in clubs. Like, come on now.
It's on the radio. It is on the fucking radio. Like.
I will say this: if that song wins a Grammy, that would be the final death blow to Meek Mill.
Meek Mill, he just gotta just give it up.
Look, I said it on my interview with G. Scott. We were talking about this, and I said if Drake wins this Grammy, Meek has to change music genres. He absolutely has to.
Well,
He gotta holler at Fetty Wap and try to ride the train over to the pop side with him.
There's absolutely no coming back from this. I mean, I don't think there's coming back from it right now. But if he wins the Grammy, I think there's absolutely no way he comes back from it.
Yeah, and if I'm not sure if Twitter was 100% correct on this, but I can't think of any other time. The only other time a beef song was nominated for an award was LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out."
Yep. Yep.
Only time.
Wait, hold on.
That is incredible.
I got a quick question for y'all. Why wasn't Big Sean mentioned?
He didn't have an incredible year. He just had a good album.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's not bad to not have a great year because he also didn't have a bad one. He didn't get caught up in any kind of BS. He dumped what's her name because she was
yeah, that's the absolute best thing to happen to him was he
Wait, who broke up with who?
Big Sean broke up with Ariana Grande earlier this year.
Okay, why did he break up with her?
Well, they said it was due to like scheduling conflict, like they don't see each other that often. But
I thought he said it was about her being childish or something, or someone else said that.
Well, I think somebody else said that, but you notice it happened after Bieber was getting too close to her on stage.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bieber.
Yeah. He's a homewrecker.
Bieber Valley. He's made that hip hop transition.
Yeah, he's making it, man. He's gonna be the next Drake as far as giving somebody an L throughout the year. Because Drake messing up people's relationships too, man.
Is that a world tour or your girls tour?
Man, he got Meek Mill's relationship jacked up and DJ drama. And he had a fantastic year. I can't really think of anybody else that came really close to the guys we mentioned. I think we covered it all. It's great years for all these guys. Everybody else kind of.
If a year was this month, I would nominate DJ Khaled for his inspirational quotes.
Dog, hilarious! Oh my goodness, that video is gold. Like turning a complete troll into that is incredible. So honorable mention to DJ Khaled for sure. Because people have been roasting him forever. He just took it in stride, rolling.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna get paid off of it too. So that's a rub. But
DJ's Khaled gonna be selling us vector knives on TV one day.
Hey, him and Fat Joe too. Both
together. They're gonna be reunited selling vector knives.
That's another article you need to write up, Joe.
Oh man.
But that's the end for those end of the year topics. Like I said before, we're gonna do song, collaboration, and rookie of the year throughout the week. It'll drop Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on Friday night, we're going to do the album of the year, album/EP of the year, and mixtape of the year ranking live on the show. So be sure to let us know what you think about all of the nominations for this year, who you think had the best year, who you think had the worst year, and what's the best project you continued to listen to from last year. But let's get the last statements from everyone. Start us off, Gary Swaby.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I have actually been listening to a few other songs this week, and it's battle rap related stuff. There's been a few diss tracks going around between battle rap crews, NWX and Dot Mob. So I'm kind of enjoying that because they're going back to the roots of hip hop and just getting at each other over beats and everything. Shouts to Rain, because I think Rain from NWX actually had the best diss song.
See, I'm not familiar with Rain, but I saw that T-Rex dropped a Rain diss recently. I didn't know anything about that whole situation, but that is interesting to see. I'm going to check it all out.
Basically, how it started was K-Shine, who was part of Dot Mob. He kind of branched off because I guess there was something going on behind the scenes between him and Mook or whatever. And, he created NWX with DNA, Big T, Rain, and Saga. and you know, Big T and DNA have always been throwing shots at Mook and Rex. So I guess the Dot Mob guys wasn't really feeling that. So Mook went on a radio show and said that K-Shine is no longer Dot Mob. And then from there, like, it just exploded, and there was like disses back and forth. So.
Wow, that's crazy. You know what, Gary? We actually need to do end of the year topics for a rap battle as well. At least battle of the year, rookie of the year, and rap battler of the year.
Yeah, I've been planning to bring back Arena. Actually, I wanna try and do it more frequently. Maybe like shorter videos on YouTube, and then once a week do a longer show with you or something. But
okay.
I want to bring back Arena in some capacity. I guess I just need to work out how it will fit into my schedule.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm always down for it. Arena's always fun when we're doing. Richard Bailey?
Yes, thanks for having me on the show. Looking forward to next week's show because there's going to be a lot of discussions going on. But yeah, great music all around. I'll definitely check out some of the music that you guys have suggested. Not really sure about Dom Kennedy, but I will check out everything else that you mentioned. So we'll see about that.
Word. On my end, because I'm gonna let Joe close the show out. Greatly appreciated for everyone that watches and gives us feedback. Shouts out to the people that leave comments. We greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Koalition.com post, we don't have the donation thing, but we do have a Patreon now that is linked on the Koalition.com post for this episode of Knights of the Turntable. So feel free to donate to that to support everything that we do on the Koalition.com. Be sure to hit Joe's website as well, Jehovah's Mind Frame, for some really, really dope independent hip-hop and interviews and music to listen to in general. And we will see you next time. Next week's episode is going to be really, really big deal. And I'm glad that we made it episode 50. Like, it flew by for me. And the next 50 episodes are going to be something else.
It's lit!
All right, Joe, closes us out.
That's my closing. It's lit!
Word. We'll see y'all next time. Have a good night. Peace.